When your truck needs an engine. Now, I shouldn't say your truck needs an engine, a truck needs an engine. So this will go for the average person and mechanics out there as well. I've come to realize that the lack of knowledge, information has got bad. Now, I do want to preface, I did not know all of this when I first started. Hence, I'm doing the videos. So I'm not doing the videos to, shame people because they don't know anything or that type of thing, but try to show my perspective of what I recommend doing. And I think it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense to you, well, don't do it. Continue doing what you're doing and have problems. If you don't have problems, even better. Now, we are looking at, now this truck does not need an engine. Wow. She got some time on her, but still runs fine, doesn't burn any oil. Okay? But let's pretend this thing has massive blow-by. Customer brings it in, says my truck's not running right. You take the oil cap off. It's, doing the thing. Okay, so you're gonna call an engine. Now, at that point, in my opinion, the mechanic needs to do some legwork before you do any more. Just saying, oh, the truck needs an engine, you're not done yet. So the next thing, in my opinion, which a lot of guys do not do, and I have done this before, need to go in the truck. Now, you should, if you're doing work orders and all that stuff, you're gonna have your mileage already. Service writer's probably already got that, or you've already written it down. Another thing I recommend, especially on Dodge trucks, all the newer ones have it, is hours. How many hours are on the truck? Because if you look at this truck, it has 468,000 kilometers on it. I'll put that in miles. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But it has 14,000 idle hours on it. The two do not correlate. This truck used to be a service truck. It had a service bed on it. You can tell by the step bars. But, and I knew that when I bought the truck. The guy did disclose that to me, that's what it was. Had lots of hours on it. You can tell that by a few things. I think this truck has had an engine by the look of it at some point in its life, because the block is actually painted and the sound deadening cover on the other side is missing. But here nor there. What I recommend doing, so you're in there, you get your hours. Next step, check, make sure there's any codes. Okay, truck's got no codes, perfect. Or if it does have codes, make sure you write them down, because that is something that a lot of guys miss. I realize lots of guys do that, but lots of guys miss that. Next one is, does the AC work? Because you're going to be taking that all apart. In the case of this truck, it does not work. See if the AC works. Next step. Pull your air filter and see how much crap is in the intake pipe. And now I know a lot of guys are going to say, oh, wow, that doesn't make any difference. Well, it does make a difference, and you'll understand why here in a minute. I pull that off, just whatever you use for a shop rag, wipe it inside there, see if it's full of crap. It's got an aftermarket air filter. It might have a bunch of garbage in it, why the engine's dusted. If that's the case, you need to recommend, I'm going to say strongly recommend that the customer runs a paper-only filter, not a washable one, because they're not servicing it properly. Now, from there, got your intake out. Now, you haven't done nothing yet, and I realize you're going to have to run this by the boss unless you're the boss. I recommend to do this. You're going to charge the customer an hour diagnostics to check the engine anyway. Not a bad idea to check the rest of this stuff because it helps you and the service writer in the end. Or maybe you are the service writer, or if you're the guy running the shop. Next step, do a boost leak check and see if you have any boost leaks. If you have, if an intercooler's got a hole in it, boot's got a hole in it, that's also going to contribute to an engine problem, right? So I would recommend doing that. Do a boost leak check. Now, when you're at that point, these trucks, depending on the year of the truck, obviously, we're just going to talk about this truck. 6.7 truck is going to be more common probably than a 5.9. Is this thing eats its own barf, basically. So it's pulling, I haven't done it yet, but it should have a catch can on it. I do not have a catch can. It just gets sucked into the intake, into the turbocharger, and then that nice oil film goes into your intercooler and then into your intake eventually. Keep note of that. That has something to do with when I was talking about the dirt in the air filter. So what I would recommend doing at that point is pull the intake pipe off, your charge pipe off, and maybe even pull the charge pipe off the other side, or just off the intake horn. See how much crap is in there. See how much oil is in there. Because if you have dirt in the intake pipe, you're going to have dirt in the intercooler. Would make sense, right? What does dirt like to stick to? Oil film. So, you have oil in there, and you have dirt in there, and you put this new long block in. What are you doing? You're going to feed dirty engine oil slash crap, sand, dirt, whatever, into a brand new engine and kill it, and then blame the guy that built it. Interesting. So now, next step on that one, there again, I would recommend pulling this cover off. Check, see how dirty the rad is. I recommend, well, I shouldn't even say I recommend, it's a requirement on my engine so that the rad and the intercooler are flushed. Because how many times I've had a customer call me and say, oh, that engine you built for me is overheating. I don't even, like 30, 40, 50 times over the years. And every time, everyone, well, I shouldn't say that, except for 2, because they were in hot rods and they just didn't have a big enough rad. The rads were no good. They were plugged up internally, externally, whatever it may be. So, yeah. And I realized I did a video and a lot of guys said, oh, well, you know, if the customer's not paying, I'm not putting it in there. It's just like, well, if you're doing this check prior to pulling the engine out, the customer already knows what they're getting into. They know that they're going to need the intercooler flushed or replaced because it has a hole in it or it's full of crap. They know that they're replacing the intake because the intake that they're using, they're not surfacing or whatever it may be. The radiator needs to be changed because it's plugged up internally or it's just really dirty, whatever. Because lots of times it's, by the time you have them flushed professionally, sometimes you can buy a new radiator. Just make sure it's a good quality radiator. Same with the intercooler. Now, at that point, okay, that point, this is more on the service writer or whoever is doing the quote on the job. Now, this is a debated thing, and lots of guys think that you don't have to do certain things. Now, oil cooler. I recommend oil coolers. Well, I shouldn't say recommend. My engines, it's a requirement to change the oil cooler. So if you buy a basic long block from me, does not come with a new oil cooler. If you buy a loaded long block, it does come with an oil cooler. Some guys want to source it themselves, put it on, whatever. Save a little bit of money. That's fine. But I do require the oil cooler to be changed because in my eyes, check out this video after we're done. Actually, you know what? I'll put a link in the description showing you the inside of an oil cooler and you'll understand. I look at it as you're basically swapping on a used oil filter onto a new engine, basically. Yeah, so it's bad. There again, and then it's other things that, you know, if you have, you know, radiator hoses that aren't perfect, they've been botched together, a new thermostat, a new water pump, serpentine belt, you know, your accessory drives. Oh, also something else, which reminds me on this, is make sure the clutch fan is functioning. That's something to do before you take the truck apart. You can do that with your scan tool. If the AC works, you can just flip the AC on, the AC or the compressor, or not the compressor, the fan will engage, but you can do it with your scan tool. You toggle it on and off. If it's a mechanical fan on the truck, if it's an older truck, you know, check it, make sure it's good, because that is, there again, one of those things. Because if the truck overheats, whoever built the engine isn't going to warranty it. So now you're stuck dealing with the customer. You know, it's something that should have been changed. You didn't change it, whether the customer didn't have the money. As long as the customer is aware, then they're taking the liability for the problem, right? Look at it that way. What else do we got? Oh, injectors. So injectors and CP3. Injectors for me, and there again, everybody's the same way. They need to be tested or replaced. If it has any amount of miles on it, let's be honest with each other. It should have injectors and it should have a CP3. I realize that's not cheap, But neither is doing an engine again because you didn't have them at least tested. There again, I would replace with a good quality injector, whether it's a Bosch new or Remand, DDP, SNS, Flux, Energy. Like there's lots of different brands. Whoever floats your boat, but just a good quality injector. Don't buy the ones that are $500 for 6, and then expecting it not to blow up. But I think you grasp what I'm talking about as far as that goes. Get yourself a nice list of, it's just like the water pump doesn't look like it's been changed in 10 years. The serpentine belt doesn't look that good. Also, look at your crank sensor. The crank sensor on this truck, I replaced because it was chewed up from a belt that let go by the look of it. So you don't have problems. The customer picks the truck up now. Oh, I have a crank sensor problem. It's chewed up. Doesn't look very good on either you put the engine in and now you're on the side of the road, or you're dealing with the customer because they're on the side of the road. Either way, it's not a good look. So it's just preemptively, because that seems to be a thing where guys, and then cleaning stuff. If I was doing the engine in this truck, if I ever do an engine, hopefully I never have to do an engine in this truck, I would pressure wash up, top, bottom before I started. And then when you peel off all the parts, you're peeling off your valve covers, your rocker box, intake horn, intake plate, which you're going to do, you really should do a intake heater delete or fix of some sorts, so you don't have a problem. This one's not hooked up, so I'm not worried about having a problem. And it looked okay when I had it apart. When I have a part for, because I did the injectors in it. So, that stuff needs to be cleaned. Oil pan, internal, external, like clean all the bits and pieces. Also, something else that I do recommend, there again on my engine is mandatory for the, the big dick warranty, is harmonic balancer, especially on a 6.7. Have I done a video on that yet? I want to say that I did. I don't know. I'll have to check. If I didn't, I'll make one here in the next little while. They are wearable items inside, so they do wear out, especially if they have any physical damage on the outside. Real bad. So lots of guys damage them, taking them off, throws out of balance, yada, yada, yada. That is something else. And I realize when you add up all this stuff, it becomes expensive. It does. But it comes really expensive if you have to do it a second time, or if you're doing it on your dime for somebody else because you didn't do what should have been done, right? Just, I don't know. That's how I look at it, I guess. And like I said, I didn't always do all that stuff. This is stuff that I've learned over the course of the years. And if I was getting back into, you never know, back into doing engine swaps and all that type of stuff, this stuff would be mandatory. You don't want to do it, that's fine. We'll close the hood on the truck. You owe us an hour for diagnostics, and you can take it to somebody else. Because I think you're better to be the asshole that didn't do the job than the asshole that did the job. My opinion.